We're going to talk about building on the right foundation. As a biblical counselor, you're going to work with a lot of couples. Couples are going to come to you and they're going to be in distress, and you are going to guide them through working through the difficulties and the problems, and you're going to help them build on the right foundation. In this video, we are going to discuss the Gottman research. For many years, John Gottman and his colleagues have studied countless couples, and they've defined the masters in relationship and the disasters in relationship very clearly for us. One of the helpful things that I think they've done for counselors is they've put this in a conceptual framework, and they refer to it as the sound relationship house. And when we look at the house, and we'll examine the sound relationship house in this video, we'll look at that model. These are the principles. These are the characteristics. These are the qualities that are found in every successful relationship. You're going to like this conceptual framework for a number of different reasons. One, it will give you a tool to work with your families while you're working through a difficulty or a problem. You're helping them to build, you're educating them. In counseling, we do a lot of listening. We do a lot of mediating, of course, a lot of admonishing, a lot of encouraging, but we also do a lot of teaching. And nowhere is that found to be more essential than in the marriage counseling context. You will do some teaching. This will become a great tool, and it's going to sit perfectly with your biblical worldview. And so you're using research, you're using an evidence-based model, and you're presenting it from a biblical worldview. And by using this tool, you'll see how this integration fits perfectly together, and you're going to help a lot of people by using the Gottman sound relationship conceptual framework in your marriage counseling. When a marriage succeeds, all of us rejoice. When a marriage fails, our hearts break deeply because so many people are affected by a marriage that ends in failure, a marriage that ends in divorce. I can tell you this, that when a divorce happens, typically both parties are served with legal documents. The legal documents generally describe the dissolving of the marriage and why, and it's generally stated for irreconcilable differences. Why did the marriage not succeed? They couldn't reconcile the differences. In a marriage that succeeds, what is the difference? They have learned to reconcile differences. And in marriage counseling, a large part of what you'll be doing is guiding a couple to the peaceful and harmonious reconciliation of differences. And so, how do we do this? We go to the foundation. Jesus spoke about the foundation of building a house. In Matthew chapter 7, beginning in verse 24, Jesus describes a wise man and a foolish man who both build houses. The wise man builds his house on a rock, the foolish man on sand. And you know the story. The rains come, the winds blow, the floods come, and the house that's built on the rock, on the right foundation, stands. And so it is in marriage, a marriage that is built on Christ, built on biblical principles, can withstand the difficulties and the troubles and the stress of life. Because you know this, the winds will come, the rains will come, the floods will come. Build the house on the right foundation. And so for many couples, You will help reestablish that foundation. For some couples, they have never had a foundation put down in the first place, and you'll help build that foundation with them. When you look at the Gottman Sound Relationship House, you're going to really appreciate this conceptual model because it will give you language to put this in context and to communicate with your family throughout the process of marriage counseling. When you look at the Gottman framework, the conceptualization of the sound relationship house, you'll notice that the house has three distinct domains. In one domain, it's about increasing. What do we want to do in marriage counseling? We want to increase intimacy, respect, and affection one for another. In another domain, it's about disarming conflicting verbal communication. And we're going to walk through and give tools for that. So you're increasing, you're disarming, and then the highest domain and the level of the house, the highest level is creating a heightened sense of empathy and understanding one for another. And so this is the framework from which we will consider the Gottman sound relationship house. You will notice that the Gottman sound relationship house is supported by two pillars. I would say two load-bearing pillars, the pillar of trust and the pillar of commitment. Without these two pillars supporting the entire framework of the house, it will fall apart. To build on the right foundation is essential, yes, but now we raise this house and we support this house by two pillars, trust and commitment. When I work with a couple, the very first thing that I must establish in marriage counseling is commitment. Are you both in? Are you completely committed to the process of working through this, to the process of saving the marriage, getting through the difficulty? Are you committed? Some people say, well, marriage is 50-50. And I would say, no, a marriage is 100% and 100% from both partners. Divorce is 50-50. Marriage is 100% and 100%. So there must be a strong level of commitment or you have collapse. There also must be a strong level of trust. And trust is not an emotion. Trust is a choice, but trust is also an environment that we create. I think a great acronym for trust or trusting is this. What is it? Truth, respect, understanding, safety, transparency, investing time and emotion, niceness, genuineness. If you have that as an environment, as that type of trusting environment, I feel safe. I can be vulnerable. I can come to you and I can lower my guards because I trust you. And so trust and commitment are essential pillars to this conceptual framework. You must have it. You must have the buy-in and you must have this environment of safety, which is what trust truly is all about. We're going to talk about the levels of the sound relationship house. What the Gottman research reveals is that there are basic qualities to every couple, every relationship that identifies as being we're satisfied with this relationship, we're happy together, we love each other, we're committed, we trust one another. And so there are levels, and that's despite having differences. That's despite having troubles and difficulties that come in life and that enter into all relationships. But the couples that are successful and the couples that identify as being satisfied have these levels, have these qualities. The very first level in the sound relationship house is that of building love maps. What does that mean? Building love maps. That means my partner talks to me. That means I talk to my partner and we explore and know each other's inner world. That means I can talk to you about my difficulties, my challenges, my dreams, my aspirations, all of it, because I have trust, because I have commitment. The walls are down and I can share openly and I can listen empathetically with you as well. And together we can explore each other's inner world. Now, despite the difficulties and the disagreements that we have, you can become my best friend. I can be your best friend if we explore each other's inner world. And so, this is what the researchers identify as having love maps or knowing each other's love maps. And you won't get this without having conversation. So you don't get this by watching TV where you're just zoning out in front of a screen or at your computer or on your phone. You've got to talk. What does not work for couples is this, keeping everything stuffed down, compartmentalizing your life outside of the home versus the life in the home. Couples that are successful talk, they communicate, they understand and are aware of their partner's inner world. The next level of the sound relationship house is referred to as shared fondness and admiration. And Gottman describes this as an emotional bank account within the relationship. What does the relationship need? We need deposits of fondness and admiration. We need to feel loved and wanted and desired and appreciated in every way. What happens in areas of conflict and what happens in areas of dissatisfaction is we take withdrawals. The words that are cutting, the actions that are unkind, they are like taking withdrawals out of that account. And when you reach a point where you have a deficit in your account, when you are overdrawn, it hurts and there's not any place to go at that point. And so when a couple comes to you in counseling, you have to establish, at this point in time, we don't need additional withdrawals. We can only put some deposits in here. It's the natural course of every relationship to have deposits and withdrawals, but we have to have more deposits than withdrawals. And we have to have that 5-to-1 ratio to feel loved, to feel satisfied. And so make the deposits of being kind and complimenting one another, positive reinforcement to your partner. The relationship thrives on rich, wealthy deposits from your heart into your partner's life. The next level in the sound relationship house is that of turning towards and not turning away. By this, Gottman describes making bids one to another. And so a bid for attention, a bid for affection must be turned toward instead of turning away. What do you mean by that? Many times after a disagreement and words have gone silent and the temperature has grown cold, one partner will make a bid for attention, a bid for affection. It could be a slight bid. It could be as simple as, can I bring you a glass of tea? If the partner turns toward their partner, the partner might say, "Thank you. That would be tremendous." Or the partner could turn away and the partner would say, "Nothing at all," look the other way, or say, "No, I don't want that. No, thank you." But if you receive the bids, if there is a turning toward the bid for affection and attention, then you have the next level, which is a positive perspective in the relationship. And so how do you develop this positive relationship perspective? By being grateful for your partner, identifying the things that you appreciate in your partner, the things that you are thankful for in the relationship. Without that, we have a tendency to rehearse in our mind and mull over and ruminate on the negative disagreement that you had, the negative thing that your partner said or did, and you go over it and over it in your mind, and it creates this negative sentiment override where everything about the relationship now in your mind becomes negative. But when you are grateful, when you have a positive perspective, when you identify the things that you appreciate, the opposite is true. You begin to look at the relationship in a positive perspective, and you have positive sentiment override. These are the qualities, these are the levels that satisfied couples have, despite their disagreements, despite their differences. If they have these levels, build these levels overall, when it's all said and done, my partner and I may have had a disagreement, but we love each other, we value each other, we appreciate one another. These are the ingredients that must be in this relationship. These are the levels that must be in the house, and these are the levels that you can help build in the relationship in the counseling sessions. The next level of the sound relationship house is about managing conflict successfully. What are the components of managing conflict? One is I must be able to accept the influence of my partner, of my spouse. I must be able to listen. I must be able to consider their perspective and lower my defenses to the point where I can consider, well, maybe they have something to say about this. Maybe they could have the right perspective on this, and maybe I can adapt this in my life and in my understanding. Many times, and I'll say this, many times men have a difficult time with accepting the influence of their wife. And most men who are secure in themselves and most men who are wise will evaluate and listen and accept the influence of a godly spouse. Uh, Now, is every thing easily agreed upon, and should every influence be understood and received and taken? No, because there are many different perspectives. But by and large, most couples that are successful have the ability to receive influence one from another. And then another component of this would be to discuss the problems, taking turns listening, hearing the problem completely out or the side of your partner completely out before you jump in and fire away and have something to say all the time. And so a lot of listening should take place. And then also, another component of this is practice self-soothing and self-calming. What Gottman teaches us from the research is that once your heart rate is over 100 beats per minute, you go into a neurological state of fight or flight, and at that point, you're not reasoning. You're not working from the prefrontal cortex of your brain. You're actually operating from the reactive base of your brain. You're flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, and you're not thinking rationally. And so at that point, it's best to soothe. What that might look like is a partner saying, I'm flooded here. I'm very upset. I'm not rational right now. I need to take a walk and calm down. We'll talk about this, but give me 30 minutes. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to take a walk. Let me reach a point of calm. And that might be in 30 minutes, that might be in an hour, but we will talk about this and we will get through it, but I need to self-soothe and calm. Typically, when arguments go bad and it escalates to what we would define as a fight between the couple, it's because both of them are flooded with emotions. Both of them are in a reactive state. Neither of them are working through the problem with their prefrontal cortex or logically using their executive functioning. They're reactive, they're in fight or flight. And so managing conflict is key, and it's about communication, it's about appropriate interaction, it's about accepting each other's influence, being able to creatively problem solve, which may mean I need a break when I'm flooded. I need to take a pause and come back and talk about this rationally. And so, working with individuals and couples as they deal with these arguments, disagreements, uh, disputes is key. And so these are some tools that will help you manage conflict successfully. As we come to the final levels of the house, the upper region of the house, we come to the next level, which is making life dreams come true for your partner. If you go through life and you have a partner, a husband or a wife that's supporting you in your dreams, in your goals, you're going to feel satisfied. You are going to feel that you can trust this person. This person has your back. And so we all want this. We want to feel supported in the relationship. And so helping your partner reach their goals, reach their potential is key. It is what makes a couple identify as being satisfied with the relationship. They feel supported in the relationship. And then the highest level of the house is that sense of purpose and meaning. It's identifying that we are involved in something that's bigger than ourselves. We have a shared purpose and meaning in life. These are essential qualities in the home. Now, before you can get to these high levels of making dreams come true and having a shared sense of purpose and meaning, you might have to build trust, build commitment, get through the managing of conflict and supporting each other in all of those areas. But this is where you're going. And so that is the best level. That is the highest level. That is the ultimate goal, is when the couple reaches this point where we're pulling together. Now, what happens, a couple comes to you in conflict, and their crisis is your opportunity to help them build the relationship on a solid foundation, on biblical principles, a home that honors Christ, a home and a house that is spirit filled. This is your opportunity. as a biblical counselor to help individuals get through that stage of conflict to restoration, to hope, and now building a life that they aspire to, that they want, that they truly desire. I've often found this, that the conflict can create that opportunity whereby you can get to the point where the relationship is now stronger, it's better, it's more determined, it's more resolved. And the individuals within the relationship are wiser and they're stronger and they're more gracious and they're more humble and vulnerable with each other in this beautiful relationship that pictures Christ and the church. So God bless you as you work with couples. The Gottman Sound Relationship House is but a tool to kind of put everything on. It is a conceptual framework for you to walk a family through and to find that place of success and successful building a life that both of them want. The couple comes to you in crisis. Yes, they're having a difficulty. Most of the time, they truly do want to work through it. They just don't know how. They're not asking you to take the problem away. They're asking you to help them, guide them, and help them manage through the problem in life. So God bless you as you build on the right foundation with many, many, many couples.